My 1.9 TDI Polo is a great daily driver, but I wanted to make it better. So what I did was go through a dark place that is the internet and buy a whole load of stuff for about £100 to make it even better. The car's already a perfect daily driver, and as an 18-year-old, all the torque I get and endless fuel economy is such a plus. But all these little things I've bought are going to make this car a much nicer place to be in, perform better, and look much better. And most importantly, an armrest. Yes! So we're starting off at the front of the car, where we're getting rid of this horrible ram air intake. Now, pros wise, it makes a silly induction noise. All I can hear, especially when it's cold, is sss, sss, and even a little blow off. But not only is it taking so much power away from me, MPG has gone down by at least 5. In its place, we've got a proper pipe across panel filter. So I'm going to put all the standard air boxes back in, the new filter, and then it should perform a hell of a lot better, and with a remap I should be aiming for a lot more power. So yeah, now the challenge of getting this off and that back on with my limited set of tools. Well, that was easy. So I may have diagnosed some of the problem of why it's not going in. Ever since I put a massive subwoofer in the boot, I've had to wire it in through the dash into the engine bay to get power. And because of that, the wire, if you can see, is well, it's here, which is slightly in the way. Oh. All told, after around about 30 minutes of what appears to be wanking the battery off and giving it a right good time, I did finally make progress. That did mean rewiring the entire subwoofer power. Wait, what I did here was rewire the sub to the wrong terminal, meaning it had no power. So, with some help from my dad off the camera, this was fixed within no time. But finally, progress was made. With the bottom half of the airbox and the air filter popped in, we were halfway there. And with the top half of the airbox on, the air filter was finally finished, and I moved on to the next modification. So moving to the back of the car, I've got 2 changes going on. First one being this. Ever since I've owned this car, I've had this stupid little screw hanging out the back of the car, staring you right in the eye. All I think it does is just rotate and squirt the washer fluid. But now finally, for £4.50, that's going to change. What I've got here is a small bit of plastic, but not any bit of plastic. This will fit a Mark IV Polo rear wiper. To be specific, it's called a cap. You learn something new every day. And hopefully it will just go. Oh, that looks so much better. And now the more complex part over here. What I've got is a TDI badge for £5.20 off of eBay. Now, as you can see by the well, good quality branding, it's not a genuine Volkswagen product because I'm not made of money. So hopefully, with a bit of hot water and some dental floss, that old badge should come off and this should go right back on. Ready for the big reveal. 3, 2, 1. I've got a brand new car. Now it's time for the big boy mod, the armrest. Now this is something that I think every car should come with as standard. Not only does it help you on a nice long journey, it's just good storage. This was £45 off of a website called Home Done. Never heard of in my life they were selling sofas. I don't know why they're selling a Mark IV Polo armrest, but hey, business must be booming. So my car being from 2004, it's a bit sort of a dark grey inside rather than actually being black. This is solid black, so it's going to be a bit of a colour contrast, but I want an armrest. The big downside to getting the armrest though is I'm losing my 2 centre cup holders. I do have one that pops out the dash, and that is a lethal weapon. I mean, that can take an eye off. I don't know what Volkswagen are thinking for making, I mean, it's a Polo, I suppose it's a family car, but babies can be in a Polo, and that will kill a baby. What are you thinking? Now first, I do have to apologise for that recording. Somehow in these things I always manage to cut off either my entire head or at least half of it. Due to a lack of instructions from a Chinese armrest, I have no idea how to properly bolt it to the car. I'm going to take a wild guess and say some screws. However, not knowing this, I'm going to use the brute force of an 18-year-old standing on it in his Adidas. I'm the smartest man in the world. Look at that! I've made something! It just doesn't work. I'm just rounding off everything, which means it does this. Which isn't ideal at 70. And no more than 70, because that's the speed limit. I have officially got an armrest. After 6 months of driving this car with no armrest, I've done it. There are some issues with it, most importantly being it's not really fastened down. That one's my own fault. I need a better Phillips head screwdriver. Not only did I manage to actually tighten the armrest down, but I was also suffering from a horrible made in China sticker ruining my half of the armrest. It has gotten quite late now and the weather has took a turn for the worse. But that is not going to stop me. What I've got next is T-cut, because all these scratches have been sitting on the door for God knows how many years. I'm going to guess for one owner for the last 20 years before me was a married man, because all over this door handle appears to be scratch marks from what I can only guess is a wedding ring. And I'm going to assume the man was married, because if you're going to buy a car, brand new, a diesel Volkswagen, and only for 20 years, and do about half the annual mileage, you've got to be married. Because no one else is that sad. After deciding teacup was a complex item, I decided to do something that I never ever do. Read the instructions. I'll be honest here, it's actually worked quite well. I was expecting it to look the same. Well done, Teacup. After taking the old mats out, putting some new ones in, 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 I then put in a brand new stereo fascia. Fascia? Fascia. Fascia.
Fascia.
As the old one was covered in what I can only assume is man juice. Pure man juice. I then took the car for a drive to see if everything I've done has actually made any difference at all. So then, the new and improved Volkswagen Polo. It's been about a day since I actually did everything to the car, and well, I mean, I've got some good things to say, some bad things to say. Starting off with the best modification I've done to any car, including Porsche wheels on this, Porsche wheels on my old Golf Cabriolet, and the straight blunt exhaust from a 90s Polo. The armrest. I can't believe the difference this thing has made. I mean, it's a completely new car to drive. The amount of comfort I've got to just go like that, rather than having my arm hanging down low like a poor person. I mean, this must be what it's like to own a Bentley. Pure luxury. Admittedly though, it's slightly in the way of the gear knob and the handbrake. But it's no issues because I can just go like that and it's out of the way. Other things, the TDR badge on the back. Last night, I can admit now, it looked like shit. But for some reason, after about 12 hours, it now looks brilliant. I mean, from behind, it looks like a brand new car. Now, that air filter has made me lose all the noise I had before. I mean, it was making silly little turbo noises, and just the engine itself was a right loud bastard. With this on, it's a completely different car. Not only do I think it performs just that bit better, fuel economy's gone up, and it just feels so much more refined now. Like, this is a 20-year-old diesel, you can't hear a thing. And when it comes to the subwoofer, that has now been wired properly by someone who knows what he's doing. My dad. Cheers. Other things I did, the rear wiper cap. Every time I now look in my rearview mirror, I can actually see a fully assembled wiper. Bliss. I've got the new mats all round. They look brilliant now. Once again, feels like I'm driving a brand new car. However, give it a week and they'll look just the same as they did before. That new air filter makes this thing pull like a train. The brakes are now in dire need of being done though. And yes, I will make a video about me trying to fix brakes. I have no clue what I'm doing. You saw me try and change an air filter. Imagine me doing brakes. That's a high-tech component. And then the T-cut on the door, it looks okay from a distance, but when you get close up, you can still see the scratch marks, and now it's just a bit of a off black, which doesn't match the car. So that is one thing I don't recommend. At the time, looks the dog's bollocks. A day later, looks like my little sister went at it with crayons. But overall, I'm happy with what I've done. I've spent about £100 or so, and I've massively improved the car. Just by making it standard effectively, I've made it a much nicer place to be. And I know that's the least car thing any car person has ever said. But honestly, it's a nice car now. It's much more boring, but God, it's nice. And please, just give me time. I will remap it. It will be fast, and it will at least be interesting. Oh, Laurie! Right now, though, I'm off to give a car a good jet wash. Because that's one thing I never do. Actually clean my car. Once again, please don't slate me in the comments. Anyway, I'll see you all in the next one.